Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. So I made this dress a while back and people have been asking for the tutorial. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this stylish off-shoulder dress with ruffled cape. If it's something you're interested in, keep watching this video. So after I made I had to make another one for a client, and what I'm using for this style is crepe fabric and max fabric, or you call it brocade fabric. So the crepe fabric, because this my client is above size 10, I'm going to be using 2 yards of crepe fabric and 1 yard of damask. 1 yard of damask is just fine. First thing I'm going to do is put my fabric on fold. Make sure it is the stretchy part that is going around your body if you're using a stretchy crepe, and then I'm just going to measure with the biggest part of the body, which is the hip, so that my material would not waste. You should do this when you are sewing. Make sure you measure. So now from the edge of the fabric I'm leaving 1.5 inches, and this is going to be our allowance for hemming the lower part of this dress. I'm just pinning it together because the fabric is a bit slippery. Now I'm going to measure 63 inches, which is the length of the dress for this my client. I'm doing 63 inches. From that 1.5 inch I measured down, I'm going to measure 63 inches. So my tape is 60 inches. That's why I've measured it first and then added 3 inches. Now because it's an off-shoulder dress, I'll be removing 5 inches from the upper part of this dress. So my calculation is going to start from the 5 inches. I'm pinning it down, or you can tape it down because I don't want my tape to move. So from that 5 inches, which is going to be our shoulder area, that's where our off shoulder is going to start, I'm going to measure the waist length of this person, which is 17 inches, and then I'm going to measure the hip length, which is 9 inches from 17 inches, and then I'm going to pin down because I don't want my tape to move. After that, I'm going to measure the knee length of this dress. That's what you need when you're making like a maxi dress. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is put the shoulder measurement divided by 2 on this first line, which is going to be our shoulder line, and then from that point I'm now going to measure our armhole, or let me call it the chest line. So it's 8 inches, so I'm measuring that, and then on that new chest line now I'm going to measure your bust divided by 4 and add 1 inch for sewing, and then connect it to the shoulder part. At the waist area I'm going to measure the waist divided by 4, add 1 inch for sewing, and then I'm connecting from that waist to the bust area. Now on the hip, you're going to do your hip divided by 4. Whatever you have there, you're going to put it on this hip line we have, and then after you put it, you're going to add 1 inch for sewing allowance like you did at the upper part, and then connect it to your waist. After doing the hip, next part you now want to go to is your knee area, and because I want this dress to be very fitted, this is a stretchy fabric, I'm going to do whatever I have on my hip area minus 2. I'm bringing down my hip measurement to that knee line, and then I'm removing 2 inches so that it will be firm enough. If you're working with a non-stretchy fabric, you can do 1 inch. So I added 1 inch allowance at the knee area and then connected it to my hip area. So whatever I have on this my knee area, I'm putting it in the full length, at the full length of the dress, and I reduced 1 inch. I removed 1 inch because I wanted it to be smaller. So connect it from your knee line to the end of the dress, that's to the lower part of the dress. Very simple. This is like the fastest way to make a dress. If you know your hand is not straight, you can introduce your ruler when you are doing this. So now that we have done this, next thing I'm going to do is fold my allowance. See that 1.5 inch allowance we left for hemming? I want to fold it before I do any cutting because I don't want it to now be short when I'm folding. So at the upper area I'm adding 1.5 inch for folding. I'm going to use it to fold the neck area since I'm not going to be cutting facing for this dress. So at this shoulder area I am removing 0.5 inch, just like you would have done if you were doing a full armhole. I'm moving 0.5 inch at the armhole area, and then I'm folding just the way you folded the hem area. I'm going to fold this upper part allowance before I cut. So now you've done this, you can go ahead and just cut. Make sure your measurement is accurate before you do any cutting on stretchy fabric, and make sure you pin down. Make sure you pin down when you are cutting this kind of fabric, so you're not going to cut it wrongly. You'll notice that as I'm cutting, I'm taking my time to pin down the parts that are not pinned down because I don't want the case of wrong measurement or wrong cutting. So you should take note, especially if you're a beginner, when you are making this kind of dress or when you're working with this kind of fabric. So go ahead and just cut it out, pin as you are cutting. At this armhole area I left 0.5 inch that I would use to sew, and this is what we have for the front. Going ahead to cut the back now, I'm pinning our front, what we have, our front material now, our front pattern on a fresh fabric on fold, Then I'm leaving zipper allowance, and once you leave your zipper allowance, you can leave 1 inch, 2 inches, depends on how much you want for your zipper allowance, but I advise you not to leave more than 2 inches for zipper allowance. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut just the way I have on my front pattern already. Very simple. This dress is very, very simple to make. I think the part that is a little bit not simple is the ruffled area, but this part is just like you're making a fitted dress with a stretchy fabric. Note that nothing you can make this literally in less than 30 minutes if you are serious about making it. Less than 30 minutes. So at the zip area, I'm just doing a little bit of zip intake. That's that zip intake area. I don't want the zip to be bulgy when I finish sewing, so I'm just doing like 1/4 inch at the waist area of the back of this pattern. That's the zip part of this dress. So after cutting, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the middle part of the back area, and then we are done. I'm notching the waist point, I'm notching the hip point, the knee point, just the part that I know that when I'm joining the front and back together, I don't want to miss that point, those crucial points. I know you get what I mean. So now we've done this, what you want to do next now is measure where your slit will stop, and I usually advise 5 inches above, like come up 5 inches from your knee line. It's just perfect for slits. When you're making a maxi dress, you'll be very comfortable if you use that measurement for your slit. Now I'm just going ahead to remove the pin so that we can start stitching this outfit together. For the back neck area, you just want to fold the neck area with the 1.5 inch allowance we left to hem. So pin down. When you pin down, you're going to take it to your machine and sew. You'll do this for the 2 sides of the back. And then the next thing you want to do is at that zip area now, you now want to measure where you want your zip to stop. And the best measurement for fixing zip is from your waist point. Now that we notch, you want to come down by 9 to 10 inches so that your zip is just going to be comfortable when you fix it, and pin down. So we're going to fix our zip from the upper part to this part we have pinned, and then we're going to sew from that part to where our slit is supposed to start from. Then for the front area, for the front neckline, you will just fold it with the allowance we left and pin down, and also take to your machine and sew just like we did for the back. The exact same thing, that's what we're doing for the front. After sewing, this is what it's going to look like, and I usually advise that when you are sewing, iron in between so that your work can look neat as you are going. This is what it looks like at this point. Next thing we're going to do now is join the back and the front together at the sides. And remember, when we were drafting this pattern, or when we were cutting, we left 1 inch for sewing allowance, and we notched crucial places. So every part you notched, you're going to join the front and back together. You're going to do the waist area to the waist area of the back, and just like that to the end, till you get to the end of the dress. You sew with your 1 inch, and when you come back, this is what it's going to look like. At this point, you can pause to iron, but then the next thing you want to do is fix your zip. And if you want to know how to fix a zip properly, I did it in one of my videos. I'm going to tag the video on this particular video. So you're going to fix your zip with your zipper allowance, and this is what it's going to look like when you are done. You can still go ahead and iron again, iron the sides, iron the zip area to make sure every part is flat. After you've done this, what we want to do next now is we want to reduce the shoulder area. This is an off-shoulder dress, so you know you are going to take your shoulder measurement, that's your off shoulder, that's the round shoulder measurement when you're making an off shoulder dress. So we want to make sure the measurement is accurate. So you're going to use the measurement now to trim out, and I'm just retaking our armhole measurement to make sure it is correct. When you trim out the excess, you are now going to cut a sleeve for this dress. When you're making this kind of dress, it's better to add sleeves so that it's going to be firm instead of it just falling from your shoulder. So for the sleeve part, what I'm doing is whatever you have on your shoulder round, after you have measured it on the actual dress, the remaining you are supposed to have, you're now going to use to cut your sleeve. For this, I had 4 inches left, so I'm cutting 4.5, so I can use half to join to the actual dress, to join to the armhole of the dress. So I just cut it. You can use any measurement you want, how wide you want it to be, but for the length, make sure you are completing your round shoulder measurement. It should not be bigger than your round shoulder measurement when you are done. So I'm using 1/2 inch. I'm just trimming the sleeve now, the hand, to fit the armhole, and then sew it together. When you sew it together, you're going to use 1/2 inch to join this sleeve part to the actual dress. So it's just basic. You're just fixing a sleeve to the dress. It's like just a strap you're fixing to the actual dress. This is what it's going to look like when you are done. You can also go ahead to iron again. And before you now go ahead to fix your cape, to fix that ruffled cape, you want to make sure your round shoulder, that's your off shoulder, that's round shoulder measurement, you want to make sure it's accurate on this dress. Nothing more, nothing less, so that it's going to be very comfortable. Now for the ruffled part, we're going to be using brocade fabric, and I'm using 1 yard of brocade fabric. Like I said at the beginning, what you just want to do is fold it and cut it into 2. So it's like you have half yard, and then you're going to join it at the side, just like I'm doing, so that we're going to form one long strap. At the end of the day, we're going to ruffle this strap to form the ruffles around the dress. So it's just going to be one long strap. Then now you're going to measure the round part of the shoulder area, that's the off shoulder. You want to measure it and get the exact measurement. You can open the zip to make sure you're getting the exact measurement, because we're going to cut a strap now for that round part, and the strap has to be the exact measurement of your off shoulder measurements. I hope you get what I mean. So you can either use the crepe fabric or the brocade fabric to cut this strap. This strap is what we're going to be putting inside our brocade that we cut earlier to form our scrunchie or to form our ruffle. So I'm just doing 4 inches width, and then I'm cutting it with the measurement of our round shoulder, that's the off shoulder measurement. So you can close this up, you can weave it, but what you want to do next now is, after joining the 2 pieces, that's the 2 parts of the brocade that I showed you earlier, what you want to do now is join. Now you joined the 2 parts together, now you want to now join it straight. So you would fold into 2, you will put it on a fold, and you will sew straight from the beginning to the end. That's what you're going to do on your brocade fabric. So just take it to your machine and sew. After doing that, you're not going to open it. You see this line now where you sewed, your seam is going to be the midpoint, it's going to be the middle of this ruffle. So you're going to pin your strap to this point where I'm pinning it, and then you're going to take it to your machine and sew. After doing that, you're going to turn your ruffle inside out, or your scrunchie inside out. But when you're turning it, make sure you hold this strap. Don't let it get missing inside. Just make sure you hold the strap. So you're going to turn it inside out, and this is what forms our ruffle. After turning it inside out, the other end now is going to be open. You know, we've already sewn one end, the other end is going to be open. So what you will just do is pin your strap now, make sure it is straight inside, then pin to the seam, pin to the edge of the open edge, pin it down, and then cover it. So you're going to fold it in, then take it to your machine and close it up. So this way now the 2 ends of your scrunchie is going to be closed up, because you've closed one already, and then you're going to sew this one after you have turned it inside out. So next thing we're going to do now is to start gathering our ruffles. So what I just like to do is, when I pin down, I'm going to gather a bit, pin down, gather a bit. It's just something you can play around with, be creative with it, and with whatever works for you, you're going to use that. So you can just gather a bit, pin it down. The long and short of this is that the strap that you put inside is just the measurement of your round shoulder, so you can gather it to the strap measurement, so that you're going to have a lot of ruffles. So when you are done doing that, now you're going to pin down on the actual dress. So as you are pinning down, just gather and pin round the shoulder of the actual dress. It's very easy. All you need to do is pin down. I usually advise to use thread and needle to tack, because it's easier, it is faster, and it's going to hold very well. But when you are sewing, just look at how I'm sewing with my thread and needle. When you are sewing, you want to make sure it is neat. When you are sewing, make sure no thread is visible inside the dress or outside. So what you want to do now is that from the zip area, you can start stitching the ruffle to the dress. So when you are stitching, when you are sewing, just put your needle from the dress, then use your needle to gather a bit of the brocade part, of the ruffle part, and then bring it out from the front. Now the point where you came out with that thread, put your needle back in there, because we don't want any thread to be visible at all. Then gather the brocade a bit again and come out. You're just going to be repeating the same thing until you get to the other end of the zip. So you're going to put in your needle from the dress, gather a bit of the brocade on the needle, come out from another part, put your needle that same point where you came out, gather a bit of the brocade and come out from that part, and you are done already. So after weaving, I went ahead to weave the inner part of this dress, and then I'm just closing up the slit area with hem gum. I usually advise to double up your hem gum when you are using hem gum to close any part of your outfit. Make sure you double it up so that it's going to have more hold. So I doubled it up. I'm doing the slit area. Then I went ahead to also do the lower part of this dress. So the hem part, I'm using my hem gum to just tape it together, just ironing it to make sure it is neat. You can do this on your machine also, so you can hold with your hem gum and take it to your machine to sew, or you can just use your hem gum to hold it really good. So after you've done that, you want to go ahead and give this dress good pressing, good ironing, and we're already done with this dress. Very fast, very easy, very neat. You can do it within 30 minutes to 40 minutes and you already have your dress. This is what it looks like. Like I said, this particular one was for my client. That's why I'm not trying it on. The one I made is what I wore at the beginning of this video, and because it's for my client, I'm going to also be packaging it in this video. So if you found this video helpful, if you're going to try it out, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, share this video to others it may be helpful to, and drop a lovely comment. If you also have questions and video suggestions, don't forget to drop them in the comment section. I hope you understand, and I hope you try out this outfit because it is very cute and very easy to make. So see you in my next video. Until then, keep winning. And yeah, this is my brand. This is my clothing brand, Zogbel. I make dresses for people. I make bridal dresses. I make few made to fit dresses and so on and so forth. So if it's something you would want, you can slide into my DM. Bye.